The Bar Star Podcast, hosted by Stephen O'Reilly, is a podcast about working musicians, their friends, and their opinions. Stephen is a musician in Louisville, Kentucky, who has... Wait a second. This guy's a drummer, not a real musician? Somebody gave a drummer a microphone for his voice? The hell? Unreal. Unbelievable.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Bar Star Podcast. I am your host, Stephen O'Reilly, and I want to thank you for making the time to come back once again to hang out with me. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody had a good week, and as always, I hope you guys went out and did some shit. I am not flying solo today. I am hanging out with the person that is responsible for me being in Louisville, one Mr. Chris Evans. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I am fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming over. I appreciate it. It's kind of out of the way. I mean, it's a whopping 6 minutes from where you live.
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5.
4.5, yeah.
4.5.
Car didn't get warm. Cold the whole time.
Well, you got leather seats, though, don't you?
No.
Oh, Stacy does.
Yes.
I drive her car all the time in the winter. I'm like, I'm taking your car, baby, because you got them seat warmers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been talking about, for the last few episodes, that I eventually might do an episode on how I wound up in Louisville. And I figured the best way to do that was have you here, because it's your fault I'm here.
Yeah, I take responsibility.
It is literally... No, seriously, it is literally your fault I'm here. But I'm not sure where to start, because you've listened to a couple of my episodes, so you know how it works. I'm not going to ask you a bunch of dumbass questions. Right. We're just going to have a conversation. But... you do know that I'm not going to get too personal. So the quote bullshit I was going through in Atlanta, we won't talk about that, but that is where we met. Mm-hmm. What year was it? Because I don't remember. It had to be the end of 2006, because my first show up here was New Year's Eve 2007.
Yeah.
At Phoenix Hill, correct?
Yeah. So that was 2006 in...
It was the summer, maybe? I want to say it was the summer.
No, it definitely was. It was June, because I remember going to Atlanta for that we were in a Bodog Battle of the Bands.
Right. I remember all that. I just couldn't remember exactly when it was.
I remember going there. It was hot. June's, anyway, standing out in my head. So
yeah, June in Atlanta is brutal.
Yeah. It was hot at night.
Yeah.
Sweating. Yeah. Just walking around.
Yeah, it's fun. Even though I've been up here almost 11 years, when people complain about the heat up here, I'm like, go to Atlanta. Yeah. Atlanta's way worse. Anyway.
So this is probably, I'd say this was the first real thing that we did as Heaven Hill, was to be in this Battle of the Bands.
Right.
We started to writing it 2005. 4 of us: me, Teague, Chuck, and Jesse. We added, I think we added Kerr and Jesse Dix at the same time.
Right.
I think they both auditioned the same day.
For the Louisville people that have been here forever and involved in the scene, Heaven Hill kind of formed out of Breckenridge, correct?
Yeah, Heaven Hill was...
Or something to do with Breckenridge.
Well, I was in a band called The Constant, playing bass in that band. We played a few shows with Breckenridge. Breckenridge had a pretty good head of steam. Seemed like a band that was going to get some national recognition or whatever.
Right.
We played a lot of shows with them. And then I recognized their bass player. And I recognized him because I used to play junior golf against him when we were like 10 and 12.
Okay.
So I went up to him and was like, "Are you Teague Ridge?" And he said, "Yeah." So we started talking, and we'd already played 5 shows together or something like that. So anyways.
You mean both bands?
Both bands, yeah.
Right, gotcha.
So we played some shows, and then I guess it was just from us two hanging out that I had made, I mentioned that I had a bunch of stuff on guitar that I'd written that I'd like to start a band with. And Teague was really, I guess, I don't know, Breckenridge was kind of coming down, and didn't seem like they were going to last or
turn
whatever.
The corner or whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think they were kind of running out of steam or something. So Teague and I decided to involve Chuck and see if he wanted to, and Chuck is the singer of Breckenridge
and Heaven Hill.
And yeah, so the three of us got together. Chuck listened to the stuff that I'd written. I pretty much had 75% of what ended up being our first Heaven Hill record. I had 75% of that was just riffs and melodies and stuff that I had, just on my own.
Now, the first record is the one that I was on.
Correct.
Somewhat Civil.
Yeah.
I knew there was some demo stuff before, but for whatever reason, it just now hit me.
Right.
I
that was
never
the first,
actually asked you that.
Yeah, that was the first real record. And,
okay.
And the reason that was the first real record, which is we're getting ready to get to.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Part of the reason why you're here is because there wasn't so anyways.
Yeah, don't worry, guys, we'll get there.
I will get to that. So, we got together, kind of, a little hush-hush thing behind the back of Breckenridge because they hadn't officially, broken up yet. So I was actually going... And there was it was at such a turning point of that band, of Breckenridge, that I wasn't sure that they were actually considering bringing me as a guitar player into their band. Right. And then bringing this, bunch of music into Breckenridge.
Gotcha.
So I even went to a few shows, as maybe I'm going to join this band and not us separate and start a new one. But anyways, things worked out to where we just started our own. So I knew two guys from high school, that I'd played in a band with. One of them, Chris Kerr, guitar player. Him, and then Jesse Mefford, who was the guy that I went to high school with too. Right. Drummer, known him for a long time. So, they were kind of asking me, do you know anybody? Hey, I know these guys. So we got together, started writing. So this was the first time, this Bodog Battle of the Bands was our kind of first thing we did other than just play some shows here in town.
And it was obviously the first thing you did out of Louisville.
No, we went to Nashville and tried to record a demo. Because
that's right,
the producer we were working with at the time got us into Paragon Studios. Really nice setup there.
That's where Wait For Me came from.
That's where Wait For Me came from. That's where we attempted to record a few other songs.
Right.
In the studio, we're in the studio with a Grammy Award-winning producer and a Grammy Award-winning engineer that's not used to four guys that are nowhere near a Grammy.
Fair enough.
We didn't fit in Nashville just at all. I mean, the bartenders and waiters at the restaurants were way more talented than we were.
Right.
So we're in the studio. I can't make a sound. Kind of, nothing like this. Like every noise you make, you touch your pants, you hear it coming through the microphone. So anyways, we're all nervous. We do a few takes on stuff, and we think it sounds pretty good. But this engineer and producer, they're used to studio cats, and they're used to one take guys. And we were pretty much told, hey, you guys are really great. You're a great live band, but in order to record for real, we're gonna need your drummer's gonna need to be a little bit better with a metronome and stuff. Not that he's much better at drums than I was at guitar, but it mattered more for him to be right.
Right. And for the people that don't know, the non-musicians, that's not a slam on anybody. There's drummers that are really good live and they're not that good in the studio, and vice versa. There's drummers that are good in the studio and they're not that good live. Yeah. It's just kind of a nature of the beast kind of thing. So before anybody sends me hate mail or sends me bullshit nasty grams, we're not slamming on anybody except that one guy.
so we left there kind of like with our tail tucked between our legs and stuff, and then we went back to doing what we were better at, and that was playing live shows. And then there was this contest, this Bodog Battle of the Bands, that was sponsored by Fuse TV or produced by Fuse TV. They were the backing of it. Yeah. So the winner would get a kind of like a reality show. Of course, that's when reality shows were really big, and so we were like, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's we're good live. Let's see if we can go win this. Anyways, we get out there, and we had a blast out there. The Bodog people were really great, and that's obviously how we met you. Yep. You were judging
No, I was writing.
You were okay. You were.
Yeah, I was writing the reviews for all the bands. I didn't have any of the judging power. I knew the judges,
right.
And it's a really short story how I got involved in that. One of the people that worked for Bodog was my friend Christine, who was your contact person.
Right.
Obviously, we didn't know each other. I lived in Atlanta. You were up here. But she had asked me, she said, because I was still going to Atlanta Institute of Music at the time, and she said, hey, do you want to come and write reviews for the Battle of the Bands that I'm doing? You'll basically sit behind a laptop. I'll give you all the coffee you can stand. And she had to say no more. I was in.
Yeah,
I was in.
Yeah.
But I wrote what I thought of the bands, and then I turned it in. But I did know the judges.
Yeah. Well, and to us, you know, you were just there were 4 or 5 people that were faces of the event at the table. You were one of them.
Yep, I was.
So that's
when I thought I was cool.
Yeah, we thought you were cool too.
Then you met me, and you're like, that guy's an ass.
Yeah. So obviously, we got along with you, but we only looked at you as one of the people that we needed to impress. You know what I mean? Like you were just one of them.
Well, right. And we didn't really, I mean, at that time, I think, and you and I have been friends long enough, I know that your memory is better than mine. I want to say that you did 3 trips to Atlanta. And in those 3 trips, of those 3 shows, I should say, that I was at, and I was at way more than that, but the 3 that you were at, I want to say there was at the very least 6 bands on each bill. Is that correct?
Oh, it was packed.
It might have been more than that, but I want to say it was at least 6.
And in that venue, there's like a little, small, medium, and a large room. So we played all 3. So I know we at least played 3.
3 times. I remember 3.
Yeah. So we play the shows. You came up to us at one time and were like, you'd seem like not just, really you and Christine. Christine was a fan. She seemed like she really liked us. You really liked us. And then you said to us that one time, I forget which show it was, you're like, you guys are the kind of band that would get me back into being in a band again. So we were like,
I remember telling you that.
Because that's a cool thing. In a small way, it's almost kind of like, we brought something out in you that made you remember why it's cool, why it's fun to be in a band, and what.
No, absolutely, you're 1,000,000% right. In a very short history, that's not a personal thing. When I went to AIM, I don't want to say I did that midlife crisis thing, but I did that later in life. Been playing in bands for 17 years, and I really don't give a shit anymore. I just wanted to get better at drums, so I wasn't playing with anybody. All I was doing was hired gun stuff when I was in Atlanta. I would go. I was doing the studio stuff, which I've said it before. I really miss that. It's great. You walk in, you play a track, you get paid, you go home. There's no drama. It's awesome. But I wasn't playing with anybody, and I remember. One thing I do remember clearly is I remember the first time I saw you, because
me personally. Or the band.
You were so cute. Oh my God, you were so cute. When I first time I saw the band, and obviously it's hard to describe this audibly, but where I was sitting, I couldn't see the full band. I could only see you, Teague, and Chuck. And I remember that vividly from where my table was.
Yeah, because you were near the door.
I was near the door.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I had to just I was trying to get as far away from the sound as I could, because I didn't want to be close to the speakers, and I had to write all that garbage. But anyway, I remember going, God damn, that fucking singer's the shit. I remember telling Christine, they need to win. She was like, well, we can't do that yet. We can't get that far, because that was the first time I saw you guys.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Day one.
Yeah, that was the...
Yeah, that was the smallest venue.
That was the smallest venue. You guys won that night.
Yeah.
And then I guess it was a month later you came back, 2 months, whatever it was.
Yeah, I obviously can't remember the time.
I don't either. We'll call it a month.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of argument.
We came back, did the second show, won that one.
And I felt the same way, and I think that's the show when what you just said. I think that's the show when I said, "Dude, you want to make me be in a band again?" Yeah,
you definitely said that, and we all, we got home and we were like, "Hey, that." I mean, I'm not even sure we knew your name then.
Probably,
we was like that guy.
Yeah, that dude down in Atlanta.
Yeah, he said that we were awesome and he really liked us, and we just felt good about it. So then we did the third show, and which I guess was the final show.
Yeah, that was the finals because Neurosonic won.
Neurosonic? Was it Neurosonic?
Yeah, it was Neurosonic.
Okay.
And you guys technically, at least on paper, there was a little controversy.
What I heard is we won the votes.
You won the votes.
But the people at Fuse TV who'd sent the camera crew
wanted Neurosonic.
Neurosonic, something about them being 18 years old and 16 years old or whatever.
They were. Don't get me wrong. I've said it before. They were a great band.
You know, there's another band there that was really, really awesome. The band from Evansville or Knoxville, Tennessee, called Vertigo. With the girl.
Yep. Oh my god, damn! I haven't thought about them since that day. Yep, you're right. I remember them.
I actually had an album.
Really,
I had a CD of them that I listened to for a long time. I mean, I really liked it.
Nice. But I've got the Neurosonic CD.
Do you really?
Yeah, I still have it. Yep.
Bastards.
They were.
I'm just kidding.
I hate to admit it.
I'm just kidding. They're
still
good.
Bastards, but they were good. No, they were a really good band, and they had the hit about busting Britney Spears balls. I mean. You kind of got to go with that. That makes for great reality TV.
Yeah, they probably did better than we would have anyways.
I don't know. I've
seen
some shit with you boys.
Yeah.
So on the third...
So then the third, we lose. We think we had it won.
Right.
I feel like we might have even been told that we had the votes won.
Yeah.
And so it was just like we go home and we're just
It came
pissed.
down to the TV producers.
Yeah, it came out to the producers choosing what would be better TV over
Right.
the band that actually won the contest.
Right.
Anyways.
But before you got home, there was a historical thing that happened in that hallway, sir.
Yeah.
I gave it. I didn't even sell it to him.
And knowing you, that's like, how did you even...
I had some advanced copies. Shut up.
So you don't like giving away nothing.
No, I don't.
So
everybody knows I'm a money whore. It's fine. Anyway, I gave... I don't
our
remember
drummer.
I did give it straight to Jesse, right?
Straight to Jesse. We didn't even know he had it.
Right. I gave Jesse... I have a DVD called Visual Drumming, which I don't even know what happened to it. I sold the rights to it a few years ago, and the guy that bought it from me, his company went under, so I'm fuck it on that thing.
Yeah.
At least I did it. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
still got a copy.
You still have a copy?
I got a copy.
I have one that never leaves my house. One. It is in a vault. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, just let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need it. I haven't watched it in a while, so you can have it.
So somebody asked me, one of my drumming buddies, they were like, "Hey man, you got a copy of that?" "Yeah, can I have it?" "Nope." Anyway,
I'll sell it for like $20 to anybody you
split it with me.
I'm
in.
I'll split it with the rest of some coffee.
I'll take that $10 and go have a coffee.
So yeah, so you had given
the
DVD to our current drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So we get home and we're already having conversations because of what had happened in Nashville. We're like, hey, I guess if this band's going to really be serious, we've got this producer, we've got this engineer, we've got these ends with people. We probably need a more professional drummer. No offense to Jesse. He was...
By the way, people that are listening, Jesse and I are legitimately friends, so we're not talking shit about Jesse.
I've got no negative, feelings with actually anybody that's been in this band.
Oh, except that one guy.
That one guy. I don't know that guy.
He never existed. It's
just
that one guy.
That one guy. I forgot about him.
Yeah,
see, I'm not as good now as I was at the beginning of this interview. Forgot that fucker.
No, seriously, we're not busting on Jesse. Jesse and I are good friends.
So we've already had discussions. And I think we even kind of were jokingly like, yeah, well, hey, that dude in Atlanta's a drummer, apparently really good or something. He's, a studio guy. We get that guy. No shit. The very next band practice, the practice that we are meeting to unload the trailer,
right,
and put our gear back in the house from the Atlanta trip,
right.
He comes in the door late. Guys, you gotta check this. You gotta check this fucking DVD out. And we're like, well, what you got there? And he pops it in. We're all sitting there. I'll never forget this. Jesse is sitting on the couch in front of me. We're all kind of like behind Jesse in a way. He pops this DVD in, and we're watching this, and it's your DVD, your visual drumming DVD.
Right.
And, of course, there's always like a little talking intro. We're watching it, kind of go, and then you start doing some things, and we're like, okay, well, figured the dude's pretty good. And then there's a section where you just kind of did your thing and went off on a little bit, and we are like looking around the room going, you fucking kidding me? And I remember looking over at Teague, and I'm like, are you thinking what I'm thinking right now? We're going to hell, but are you thinking what I'm thinking right now? And we're all like, yeah, that That's pretty good. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, you know.
If you're into that.
If you're into that, I mean, I don't know. So, no shit, he leaves that night, and we all linger and stick around, and we're like, we gotta fucking call that guy. Because he said, and this is our, arrogance and our confidence, where we're like,
right.
If this guy said that we're the kind of band that would get him back into being in a band,
right.
Well, how about we just be the band that gets him back in a band?
Right.
Yeah, who cares that we're 7 hours away? You've got a life there. We're not going there. You're probably not coming here.
Pricks.
Yeah. So we're like, well, I guess we should just call him. I was like, fuck it, I'll call him.
What we're talking about this, because
Okay.
my memory sucks, how did you get my number? I don't even remember. Because when you get to the part where you called me.
Remember.
When you get to the part you're going to call me, I'm going to talk about that part because I remember that vividly. But how did you get my number?
I think that was through Christine.
That would make sense.
I think we called her. I think Chuck had her number.
She was your contact person for Bodog. Yep.
And we had her number. We called her, or Chuck or Teague called her, got your number.
Right.
So, you can take it from there. So I called you.
I just know I could never figure that. I never remembered to ask you all these years later. Anyway, I actually wrote about this in the book. You have about 2 pages, just you, about how I avoided your phone calls for about a week.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that. It kept going to voicemail.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get it. I was like, I don't know anybody in Kentucky. It didn't click.
You thought
in the
for sure
first couple
it was a bill
times,
collector, right? Yeah.
In the first couple times, you didn't leave a message, if I remember correctly. But I do remember the first time I got your message.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, man, this is Chris Evans from the band Heaven Hill. And I want to talk to you about something. Okay, give me a call. And then you gave me your number. And I went, what? And I still didn't call you. And then you called me.
Hard to get.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I had it made down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want any disruptions. But I also had some shit going down there, so I needed some disruption. So it was kind of a 50-50 shot. But I do remember...
You were curious.
I was very curious. And I remember you called, I don't know how many times, but you called me a few times. And I finally picked up one day. And you said, hey, man, this is Chris from Heaven Hill. You got a second? And I went, shit, sure.
Probably called you from someone else's phone.
Probably.
Knowing me.
You probably did. But I do remember that because it was weird. I wasn't even thinking about the Bodog thing, and then I kept getting this Louisville number.
Yeah.
And I'm so dumb sometimes, it didn't even click. I just wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody in Kentucky. And then when I got the first message, I went, there's no way. No. Band's too good. No, they don't want me. And then, sure enough.
We did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a total fucking shot in the dark.
Right.
I mean, we didn't think this guy wants to be in our band. It's just, hey, he said that. He's really good. If we're going to try somebody
to get to the next level and all that stuff.
And why not try the guy that said something?
Right.
We've got his number. We've got his DVD right here.
Logically, it made perfect sense. If I was in your shoes, I'd have done the same thing. And I'm not saying it's because it's me. I'm just saying logically, if you look at it, it makes sense. Yeah. What's the worst the guy could say? No. I mean, at the time, what was the worst I could say? No.
I mean, you don't want to put out an ad. You don't want to.
No.
Because you've got a drummer. You are in a band. You don't.
Right.
We didn't necessarily really need a drummer for what we were doing at the time, but we needed it. We thought, and we were told, if we're going to do this as a living,
right?
You're going to have somebody that can record and play.
No, I get it. I mean, I'm one of, and you know this because we've been friends long enough. I have absolutely no problem separating business and personal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take shit like that personal. Some people do, some people don't. But at that time, what that dude told you where you were coming from, it was total business.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, it ain't personal. You just, this is what you have to do if you want to get to, quote, that next level.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a lot of phone conversations.
Yeah, we
had a lot of email conversations.
Well, I mean, because it's this, anytime you're talking to somebody and you're pretty much trying to talk them into uprooting their life and coming and gambling, there's a lot of questions about like, hey, are you guys? I mean, I know there's a lot of questions on your end. I remember that was just, hey, all right, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? When do you practice? When do you do this? What are you really trying to do with this band?
Right.
Not like, sure, I'll just, none of us, we weren't 17, so we couldn't just, none of us could just do this and just leave. Oddly enough, I also brought somebody else into Louisville to be in a band that I was in before you. I had practice.
I've never known this.
Yes. Yeah. A girl named Jolene that ended up being the singer in Never the Man is from Arizona, and I found her online on a...
Please say MySpace. Say it.
No, it wasn't on MySpace.
Damn it!
It was on like... I seriously, at work, was searching because I was kind of frustrated with the band that I was in. I wanted to go... I was like, this is before... I mean, I was no kids, no anything. I just had a job.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to go somewhere else. So I started searching the large cities.
Right.
Typing in local, Phoenix music scene message board. I was just searching for that. I'd find the message boards and I'd look through the musicians wanted. I found a girl saying, I'm looking for a band, this and this. She posted stuff that I think I listened to a little clip of something. She was awesome, and I was like, there we go. I'll fucking just move there. Start a band with her. I mean, like, I was seriously just like ready to
You're ready to uproot and go.
This is while Teague and I are just talking about doing a band.
Right.
So anyways, yeah, she moved here.
So what you're saying is you practiced your moves on a chick before you worked on me.
Yeah, you had no chance.
Damn, you're
You
right.
had
I
no
didn't.
chance.
I was fucked from the get-go.
If I can talk a 17-year-old girl and her parents into letting her come and live with my guitar player...
That's why it's the greatest salesman job you've ever done, sir.
That's why you're in Louisville. You didn't even know that story.
No, I did not. So yeah, it's apparent I didn't have a chance. But without boring everybody to death, the weirdest part for me was I loaded my shit in my truck. Well, Jeep, whatever the hell I had.
Yeah, it was a
What
Jeep.
does it matter?
Yeah.
Point being, I loaded my shit up.
Yep.
And I made the 7.5 hour drive up here to rehearse.
Yeah,
to see if we fit.
Practice?
Yeah, practice? But the cool thing, and I actually talked about this in my book too, was how much I fell in love with the songs when I was learning them. And then when I got up here, and I don't know, you may or may not remember that. You probably will because you got a great memory. I had made some changes to a couple tunes. And you were like, well, let's just play them the way they are first, and then we'll go back and figure it out.
Come on now. Yeah. We're like, I mean, you're good now. And you got your own DVD and shit, but...
don't be fucking with our songs.
Just fucking learn the track.
Yeah. But... we did it with the changes I made.
Yeah.
And you had that...
Well, because you were like...
You know that twinkle you get when you're all
No, I'll tell you what
something?
it was. I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't a fucking twinkle. When it was Hold On Tight, song called Hold On Tight is the one I remember the most. I remember you coming in and going, hey, I love that the obvious is in 6/8. And we all look around at each other like, what the fuck is 6/8? Cool. I'm glad you like 6/8.
I remember
I'm glad you, none of us know music, know how to fucking, anyways.
Speaking of which, Squirrel, for those that are listening, the outro track to my show is the outro to the song, The Obvious.
Called The Obvious, yeah.
And since you wrote it, I have permission to use it.
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much. Carry on.
You have permission. Once we split that $20 for the DVD.
I'll give it to you. I don't want to fuck it, whatever.
All right. So
I'll pay $10 for that song.
We said, all right, let's just see your idea. And it was at the end of Hold On Tight. And I remember we're playing it, and we get to the end, and it's just this big fucking nasty double bass, like, exit of the song. And me and Chris looked at each other and started smiling at each other like a couple 6-year-old girls. And I'm returning my back to you so you wouldn't see me just like fucking cheesing my ass off.
I remember that.
And Chris, we talked about it afterwards, and we still talk about it because it was just, that was the first time we were like, fuck. Yeah, that was good. We can keep that, Don't change any more shit, but that's going to stick.
Well, I think I changed, and I could be wrong, but I want to say that either I changed it or you and I sat down and we did something to when it sold. Am I right on that, or am I wrong? I want to say it was either me or you and I did it together. Doesn't matter. Point is,
might have been.
The only reason I'm bringing that up is because immediately you and I we clicked very well. Now, we were brazen with each other, and we got, I think because we're both very passionate, we would get, not in massive fights, but we were brazen with each other, but we worked so well together immediately.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Because it was just like we would click, and it was probably, fast forward through all the boring shit, after I'd lived here for a couple months, you and I got to where we didn't, when we were writing stuff, we didn't have to talk. We just would look at each other.
Right.
Which was cool because most of the people that know me, and I've talked about this before, I've always locked with a guitar player versus a bass player, which is one of the things that makes my, I don't want to say writing because I don't write in the chord sense and the melody sense, but one of the things that makes my arranging and writing different, because I don't just concentrate on a bass player like most drummers. I listen to melody lines and all that.
Right.
But with you, I got the double because you were a bass player.
It's the first time I ever played guitar in a band. Yeah.
And in Heaven Hill, you're playing guitar and writing most of the stuff. Yeah. So it was like we were three people inside of two. I'd
already been used to trying to focus on what the fuck the drummer was doing and what I'm doing, and now I'm get this, other instrument in that, but it made it easy because it was just it worked well. So where we go from there?
Well, that's the short edited, very edited version of how I
Louisville. You're welcome. Yeah. Or sorry.
Either one. Take your
pick.
Either
one.
There's some of y'all that wish me to leave, but I'll leave when I'm ready. So that's for another show, for another day.
Or just let me know and I'll talk him into it.
He probably will. At this point, he could sell me anything. Okay, so fast forward through all the garbage. We went down to Atlanta in early fall, mid-fall of 2007 to start recording the record that came to be somewhat civil. Right. There was 13 tracks on it.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we released it. We did the CD release at Headliners in August of 2008. So it was almost a year later. We worked on that record for a minute.
Yep.
Long time. Yep. We were not going to put out garbage.
No,
we weren't. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think one of the coolest things that people, if they do remember that band, and our most popular song was Going Down, and that wasn't even on the record to begin with. We actually went back and recorded that.
Yes, we did.
It was like, we get back from Atlanta, we had the song, we had the 10 or 11 songs or whatever, and then we start writing, and we get this song that everybody's freaking out about as far as like our friends that would come over and listen. So we begged our engineer friend to let us come back and do
our
another
genius
song.
Engineer friend Ryan Williams.
That's
Shout out to my boy. Yes, we did, and you actually reminded me of that before we started recording.
Yeah.
So because I forgot about that, I completely forgot we went back and recorded that song after the fact, after the initial record was done.
Right.
I forgot that we wrote that when we came back because that was one of those songs, and it's cliche-ish to say it, but they're cliches for a reason. We wrote that song in one rehearsal.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
2 hours.
That's quick.
It came super quick.
It was real quick.
And then
usually when you hear our songs, you'd think that it just was grueling because there was so much talent in all of them. and so much depth. Everything from every riff to every lyric was just so deep. You'd think that we just slaved over those songs for years.
I love you for that. That's awesome.
We didn't take ourselves too seriously.
That's it. Show's over, folks. We're out of here.
Yeah. Well, we never took ourselves too seriously.
You're right.
We took ourselves seriously as a band, but as far as what we wrote, we didn't feel like we needed to tell the world to be a better world.
We weren't trying to change the world.
We didn't have a lot to say.
No.
We didn't have a lot of bumper stickers out there.
No.
We just wanted to fucking play.
We just want to play good rock and roll
and
be loud and obnoxious. And,
I appreciated that.
I did too. You guys never biffed about my drums being too loud like some of my friends do now.
Fuck no. That's only because we were louder than you.
That's true. That is very true. There were days where I couldn't even hear my own drums, and I'm like, I'm loud and I can't hear
We were the only band that I've ever been in that in rehearsal we played louder than we ever played on the stage. In rehearsals, we had enough PA down in that basement.
Dude,
and we are in, and to the listeners here, you wouldn't believe the neighborhood we're in practicing. We're in like a very nice neighborhood on a private golf course in a basement.
I'll never forget when I drove up to Teague's house the first time for the first rehearsal when I drove up here. I literally, that's 2, I'm done. Literally said out loud before I even texted you guys and told you I was in the driveway. I said, I'll never forget this. I'm in a fucking golf course house. What am I doing? And then I went, well, maybe there's some financial backing behind this band.
Yeah.
And turns out the bass player lived there. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was his parents' house, or his, it was his dad's house, and
but then
he now owns it now. So.
Yeah,
but
he still lives there. But I do remember also when I wrote this in the book, when you guys came out to help me load my shit in the car or in the house, all the PA that was in there.
Yeah.
We could have ran a concert anywhere.
We could.
And I don't mean show, I mean concert. The PA in that basement was ridiculous.
Tig had some gear.
Yes.
Tig has a habit. Tig did not drink or do drugs, but he
bought some gear.
A man would buy some gear.
Yes, he would.
So there's more shit in that basement, and I just cannot believe, for one, that I don't know how the neighbors that we had, those neighbors must have been drug dealers. Because they weren't calling the cops on nobody.
Nope, never.
They must have had something shady going on, because we're 15 feet from another house.
Oh yeah,
and we're making full on concert noise,
god awful
every
racket.
2 or 3 nights a week. Yep. I can't remember how many, but it was at least 2 nights a week.
Yep. I guess maybe the only saving grace is at least we were good. We didn't suck.
I guess so. I mean,
maybe that's it. I don't know. So fast forward a couple years, we did some cool stuff, and then I got fired. And we'll save that for another show. No, I'm just kidding. There was some shit that went down, and it ended. And unfortunately for all involved, Heaven Hill is no more. And I miss that band. And I'm still, out of all the things I've done and all the things I've recorded, that record, Somewhat Civil, is my top 3 that I've ever done.
Yeah, me too.
That record is amazing. I love that record. I still love listening to it. And I'm that weirdo Johnny Depp musician, and what I mean by that is, I don't know if you know this, he never watches his movies. He claims that he never watches his movies.
I'm very similar to that. I can't stand listening to our stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm the same way. I don't go back and listen to shit that I've recorded over the years. I just, once I'm done, I'm done. But I still listen to that record once in a while.
I feel like once every 2 years, I'll listen to that record.
Right.
But it's only just, I don't know, listen to it enough to kind of remember and go, oh, yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Right.
And that's it. I can't listen to it much.
No. Well, it is what it is. It's a great record.
I'm too critical of it. That's the way I am. I can't hear it without still noticing the little things I wish would have been different.
Right.
Or, wish to played this part right, or which, just personally picking myself.
I think the beauty of that, though, is you're not alone. I don't know any musician that cares about what they do that's not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got stuff that some of my friends, even my musician friends, some of them think it's the greatest shit they've ever heard. And that's not a bragging thing, but I absolutely hate it because just like you just said, I knew there was things I could have done different that would have been better for the song. Whether I played more or less is irrelevant, but it would have been better for the song, and I didn't do that. So now I just can't stand listening to it. Well, so I get what you're saying.
Think about the dates we just talked about. When was it that like when we first started Heaven Hill, that was 2005.
When you started the band was 2005. I joined in 2000.
We did this record,
New Year's Eve, 2007. Yeah.
Then there's this CD release is
2008. Yep.
So from 2005 to 2008, these songs, I mean, they were our songs, but they started off as my babies.
Right.
So that's why I'm so critical of them,
right.
Is how they kind of ended up with. But
right. No, and that makes complete sense. So I'm proud of what we did. I'm happy with it.
I am too. Every now and then, just recently, somebody posted a picture. What was it, a Throwback Thursday? Somebody posted on Facebook of us.
It was you. It was after I was gone and Ivan replaced me. It was you guys with Ivan.
Okay.
And I don't remember the time frame. I was gone in.
I guess it was like the
late 2009.
It was the photo shoot for the second album.
Yes. Yep.
So
I remember that.
Somebody posted that. One of my coworkers at work, who I've known for a little while, came up and he goes, "This whole time I had no idea you were in Heaven Hill. I used to come to your all shows. Like me and my brother used to listen to you guys all the time. It was cool that he was just like, hey." He called his brother and was like, "Oh, remember Chris? That's Heaven." And so every now and then shit like that happens, and it's kind of like, you know what?
It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't care what it is. That's just cool. I get it sometimes too. I mean, I get it from the cover bands I've done too, and I'm not busting on the cover stuff, but for some reason it means a little more to me when it's an original band because I put so much more into that.
Yeah.
And because, especially with Heaven Hill, I literally changed my life. I already gave you 2. You're not getting a third. I literally changed my life to come up here.
Right.
So I've got so much more invested into that band and into that record. So it's still cool.
Yeah, you had to care more.
Yeah, I had to care more. So I think that's about it for the Heaven Hill stuff. You cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
You got anything else to add?
No. Hey guys, how's it going? If you're listening to this, sorry if I pissed you off with anything I said.
Wait,
we saved the bad shit for
We'll do another episode on the bad shit. But while we're talking to you guys, why are you crying? All right, so you've listened to the show, so you know one of the sections I do is social media issues. Okay, so this week on social media issues, I'm going to let you pick the social media issues. I'm not going to do it. I want you to do it.
All right.
So what you got for me?
I tell you what, I see this all the time now. Just happened to me recently. I see it every time I go to a concert now. Everybody has to film the show. Everybody has their phone out.
Yep.
In this, everybody's shining it at the stage. Everybody's recording. Nobody watches that shit.
Nope.
Nobody ever watches it.
It's funny you're talking about that because I touched on this on a previous episode, and the only reason I'm interrupting you is because I'm going to ask you if you view it both ways, meaning I view it from what it's like being on stage and seeing it, and I view it what it's like being in the crowd and seeing it. Does that make sense?
I have, yeah, and I almost feel like when we were a band, if I saw people holding their phones up, I'd have been like, hell yes, we must not suck.
Right.
But I look at it as a musician, standing in the crowd, I hate it.
Right.
And just recently at a Highly Suspect show, I don't know if you know the band Highly Suspect.
It rings a bell.
First single was a song called Lydia. Incredible band.
I know who you're talking about.
First time I saw them was in Cincinnati. Little tiny venue. Everybody's got their fucking phone in his face. And he is very vocal about get your phone out of my face.
Right.
And he stopped. He completely stopped the song and said, guys, we're here together in this moment. Let's be here. Let's not record his video so you can post it on your fucking, timeline or something.
Right.
Let's be here and let's be in this together.
Right.
So please put your phones up. And I've seen him kick phones that are in his face.
Nice.
No shit, kicked phones.
Well, did you read that story about Chrissy Hine or Himes? I forget how to pronounce her last name. Chrissy, lead singer for the Pretenders. Did you read what she did?
No.
And I talked about this on that episode, but it's worth mentioning again because I think it's awesome. They had a show in Dublin, Ireland. They had it printed on the tickets, and they had posters all over the venues of please leave your phone in your pocket, enjoy the show in real time. Thank you, the Pretenders. About 45 minutes into the set, she apparently got tired of looking at the sea of cell phones, and she said she flipped the crowd off and said, take a fucking picture of this, and took her band, and she walked off stage and never came back out.
Jeez. Yeah, and, that's a tough position because, for one, there are however the percentage of people there that listened, that put their phone in their pocket and said, hey, I'm here. Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
They didn't get to see their show.
Yep.
So,
It's touchy, but at the same time,
real touchy.
At the same time, though, I guess because I've been playing music for so long, I back her up.
Yeah.
Because there were warnings.
No, I get it.
She told you.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. With the warning, yeah, I can see more of that.
Yeah.
So at this show, kind of funny story part of this show is that I'm at this Highly Suspect show, and I told my youngest boy, who both my kids are huge Highly Suspect fans.
Right.
We listen to it all the time. And
Your
when I listen to
awesome,
listen to an album, like when I get new shit that I like, I wear it out. So if they're in the car with me, they're listening to the same 10 songs for like 3 months. So they can't help it. They're fans. So they know so anyways, they're like, hey, when they play the song Mom, record a little bit of that for me. got you, buddy. I'm going to record a little bit of that. So here we are at this concert. I'm watching him rip people for bringing their phone up. And I'm like, fuck yes. Everybody put your fucking phones up and enjoy this. And then like 5 songs later, 5 songs later, they start playing the song Mom. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to do this. Because I've got a 9-year-old that's expecting a video. So now I'm going to look like of all the people in there, I've got his back. Like, I'm ready to go start ripping phones out of people's hand. But now I have to get my phone out. So I get my phone out, and my girlfriend, Allie, she's standing in front of me. So I kind of like, I'm kind of hiding the phone on her while I'm videotaping with my arms around her. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, I'm the guy that I'm just, he was just talking about. But, I had to do it. He's 9 years old. He'd have been upset. But I totally get it. And even going back to another story with the boys, just this last Christmas, they're like, hey, you going to film us opening gifts? And I said, you know what, bud? I don't want to do that. And I've done it in the past. I've filmed it, and I've filmed every single year. I've filmed them walking down the steps or walking into the thing and opening up presents. And I was like, I'm not going to do that this year, because every year I'm holding that camera. I'm trying to figure out, if I'm getting the right shot. I'm watching. Right. I was like, this year I'm going to be in this moment. Right. I'm going to sit here and enjoy it and take it all in, because I'm not going to watch it again. I mean, granted, you do want to have those videos later on.
Well, sure.
But,
are you coming from the place of where it's just concerts or just videoing everything in general?
Videoing everything in general.
Gotcha.
That's really, more than concerts is just one thing. It's
tip
just
of the iceberg.
It's every single thing, taking a picture of everything. Not, I get taking pictures of your kids and all that stuff. I take pictures of them. I take pictures of my girlfriend. She takes pictures of the dog. Like,
right.
She's got a million pictures of our dog. Right. And I totally get that. You take pictures of things you love. You take,
Right.
But
I get it too, but I think, not to interrupt you, but before I forget this thought, because I'll forget, I think that people overdo it.
I do too.
They go way over the top with it.
Yeah. And when it's posted for things, and then just another little social media rant when people are taking pictures of things like, hey, everybody, look how good of a dad I am. I'm with my kids at this thing.
Right.
Look at me. Now I've got them at this thing. How cool am I?
Right.
Get the fucking phone off and have dinner with your kids. We don't care that you're, spinning pasta at the Italian restaurant. I don't give a shit.
Oh, look, you went to work, made some money, went to dinner. That's great.
That's great. Why are you proud that you're buying your kids dinner? That you're a fucking dad. Buy the food and shut up. Like, nobody's fucking videoed themselves, putting gas in their car.
I'm doing that tomorrow. That's it. I'm going to go put gas in my car and
look at me, everyone.
Look at me. I put gas in.
I'm adulting. I don't care what you're doing with your kids.
I think it's... I gave it to... Okay, second time. Show's over, folks. We're out of here. No, I think that people definitely overshare, and I think that...
It's the painting the picture.
Right.
So there's kind of two things.
Way better than the way I was going to say it.
Yeah, they're trying to paint a picture as if, shit is really perfect, so I'm going to post all this. And what I see most of the time, the people that are posting a lot of that stuff are the ones that have the worst relationship that they're posting about.
I would agree.
A lot of times they're posting this, look how great this is, look how great it is, when, you already know, man,
that shit's wrong.
That shit ain't. Yeah, your all's relationship is not that good.
Well, I talked about this on my dirty laundry section, and I know you heard it about people that have that joint Facebook.
Yeah,
you got a joint Facebook. One of y'all done fucked up.
I'm surprised I don't have a joint Facebook.
Oh, edit that shit out. All right, so anything else you want to add to the social media issues? Or is that pretty much it?
I think that's it.
I agree. I do agree with you, though. I think I think you had said it before we started recording about the experience is gone. Yeah. I agree. I'm not throwing my wife under the bus, but I get on her sometimes. I'm like, dude, put your phone away. Put that shit in your memory and just keep it there.
Yeah.
People have been doing that since the beginning of time. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to document everything.
Yeah, and it's not just the phone that can get rid of it, because I've gone to a concert before that I really, really wanted to go to, and then just drank too much. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, yeah, I had a great time. Don't remember a fucking thing about the concert.
Yeah.
Like, that's also...
Yeah, that's true.
Experience is gone when you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you had an experience, but the experience
you don't remember
the experience I pay money to go see is I go see that show.
Yeah.
I could care less about socializing there at the show.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we've been able to do it forever, but the phone makes it way too easy.
I think so, and I think, and I'm not going to quote the person that said it because I don't remember, but I heard somebody say something to the effect of, we're getting so crack-like with our phones and technology in general, which is, technology is amazing. I tell my students it's the worst, greatest thing ever invented. But he said he or she said, I can't remember who said it. Mm-hmm. They said that we're getting so crack-like with our phones that we don't know how to have human experiences anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't interact really because you don't have to. You get the updates of what these people are doing.
Yep.
To me, it's good because I'm not a really social guy. So I'm not somebody that would, I've got 1,000 friends on Facebook. I talk to like 5 friends. So there's 995 people that I wouldn't even think to figure out what they're doing. Right. So when they post something, I'm like,
But
cool.
on the flip side of that, with you specifically, you're not socially awkward.
No, well, I wouldn't know that.
I'm saying that you're socially awkward. In other words, you can talk to anybody. You just choose not to because you're kind of a quiet person.
Yeah.
There's nothing and I don't want to shame anybody, but there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have social anxiety or any weirdness like that. So
I didn't know I was going to get fixed today.
I'm fixing you now. So the point I'm getting at is I think there is something to be said for the small group of people that have that. It's amazing for them because they can live vicariously. So I get it. It's kind of that double-edged sword. I get it.
Just like, I'm not going to give you. Nobody's taking my phone from me for sure.
Oh hell no!
I love what we can do with it, but yeah, I mean, I get maybe defensive about it because I agree with the musicians and stuff. It's kind of like experience that,
right?
Because I know what it's like to be up there trying to. We've all been that musician where you're playing the show and it's fucking... There's nothing worse than playing... Like, when we've done cover stuff and you're playing a show and there's nobody fucking paying attention, they're all having a good time. Well, we're getting paid to fucking be there.
Right.
That's our job.
Right.
They're having a good time.
Right.
They're going for that experience.
Yep.
But when you're playing an original show and you're trying to look like, you're either trying to gain fans or you're trying to, show these people, what you guys are about and what your music not stands for, but
no, I get you.
You're just trying to portray, this.
You're trying to give your.
You're trying to give the experience.
Yeah,
we're trying to give the experience of Heaven Hill or
and this
of
is
that
what
band.
We created. This is our shit.
And when people don't give a fuck about it and they're just talking,
it's deflating.
It's so deflating. So I get that.
Yeah.
I don't want to, ever be the person sticking a phone in somebody's face saying
no. It's funny. Before we wrap up the social media section, I was listening to Eddie Trunk and he was interviewing Scott Ian and he asked Scott Ian the very same thing, and Scott Ian agrees with you. When he's on stage, he don't give two shits. When he's in the crowd, put your fucking phone away.
Yeah,
and I find it interesting because it annoys me on both ends because. And Scott Ian, and I'm not busting his balls, he's older than I am, so he's been doing it longer than me. But I actually remember being on stage where I could see eyeballs.
Yeah.
Now I see the backs of phones.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I find it interesting with him that when he's on stage, he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's in the crowd, he put your damn phone away.
Yeah.
And I guess I find it interesting because of the level that he's on. I mean, he's been in Anthrax for forever.
I would think people that are successful... the successful people, musicians, now they can have an opinion and they can tell you to put your fucking phone up. True. Us as, struggling musicians,
I ain't saying shit.
Whatever, you're there, you paid your $8 and you're looking at us, phone or face, we're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that as musicians get a bigger voice they can actually...
Yeah, it's easier for them.
It's much easier for Highly Suspect dude to say, let's, put
your damn phone away.
If we kicked the fucking phone, we'd have probably got kicked out.
Mm-hmm. And we were on stage.
Yeah, and we were on the stage. And I'm like, there's another band right behind you that will not kick phones.
That's perfect. Speaking of stage, let's move on to stories from the stage. Okay, so this one, I'm going to give to you again. I'm just passing the buck to you, buddy. But I will match you because one of my buddies listened to one of my other shows, and he said, why didn't you match the stage story? So, fine, you're going to get a twofer, kids, but you're going first.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to match a fight with Santa Claus and his elves and a black eye on purpose.
Okay, you're getting one show, kids, because I can't match that for nothing.
All right, so we are in. This is Heaven Hill. We are. This is after you were not in the band anymore. We had a drummer named Ivan Arnold. Awesome guy, great
Super
drummer.
Guy.
So we're in Nashville doing. Hell, I don't even remember what we're doing. We might be actually. We're recording.
I think you were recording the second record because I remember. Long story short, we never really fell out of contact. There wasn't any bad blood. There was a few anger flare-ups, but that's to be expected. But we kept in touch and all that stuff. So I knew you guys were going to Nashville to record again because that's where you recorded the second record. Yeah.
So this was like a long weekend recording session. We kind of did these. We didn't do quite like we did in Somewhat Civil, where we just fucking went there and spent weeks there or whatever. Right. This was just
in out,
much lower budget per se, kind of like going down there on a weekend, putting in a few hours, and then going home.
Right.
Well, Kerr, we always call him Kerr, so I'll say Kerr from now on. Kerr, he had a job doing granite countertops or something, and he had to be back to work Monday. He had asked for off Monday. He couldn't get it.
Right.
His boss pretty much said, no, you've had too many days off. You're going to be here Monday, or you don't have a job, pretty much. So, well, Kerr tells us this while we already have 3 days of recording booked, and that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yep.
And he's recording guitars on Monday. So the first night we're there, Saturday night, we go down to a really nice part of town in Nashville called Printer's Alley.
Uh-huh.
Which is...
I know that place well.
Not very nice. A little rough, but, fuck it. That's what we...
It's non-schwanky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the greatest part of town. So anyways, we're down there in a little karaoke bar, and turns into like a dance club or something. Well, the good thing about Printer's Alley is it kind of... Every stupid thing that we liked when we were be drinking is right there, like across the little alley from each other. Like,
true.
There is the karaoke bar, there's the dance club, there's a little live music joint where there's somebody in there playing piano or singing that's fucking way better than anybody in this whole city ever, thought of being. And I would go in, I remember going into this, thing, seeing this guy doing Elton John covers, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
Why is this guy not somebody I know? Because he's amazing. But that's Nashville. So there's that. And then there's a strip club, if you like that kind of thing. I don't. I can't stand them. That's a lie. I mean, I've been in one. I don't like them, but, I know my girlfriend's going to listen to this and be like, oh, so you like strip clubs now. I've got a good story from that, though. From when we went into that strip club, Kerr went in there, and this is all the same night. He gets kicked out. And they had this is a really nice strip club because they had a little buffet, a little free buffet. So he grabs a handful. He grabs a handful of chicken tenders as on his way out the door. And they're like, don't you fucking come back in here. Well, of course, a couple hours later, he tries to go back in there and he says something like, I'll show you my butt cheeks for some of them chickens, So, one of those things you'd have to be there. It was really, really good, though. So, back to the story. So, we're in this karaoke bar that turned into a dance club. Well, there's this guy dressed as Santa. And then there were, 3 dudes dressed as elves and 1 girl dressed as an elf. And she was with Santa Claus. That was his little elf. Kerr, obviously, if you hear many stories about Heaven Hill, Kerr is going to be involved in them because
99.9% of stories will have Kerr in them.
He was, he's that dude that you're either going to like have a great time, or somebody's going to jail, or you're going to, you're going to do something that night that you're going to go, God damn. So, anyways, love you, Kerr. So we
Ruby Falls.
Shit, man.
Sorry, carry on.
Man, so Kerr starts dancing with this elf. I will say that she is a full. So don't imagine an actual real elf. Imagine a full size person in an elf costume. I didn't know.
Please tell me it was green.
It was green.
Sweet.
It was full. I mean, just like the movie, the elf Will Ferrell, that outfit.
Nice.
So, I mean, they had done it well.
They did.
So
they done it up right.
They did it right for Printer's Alley. For Printer's Alley, they looked really good. So he's dancing with her, and of course, Santa doesn't like it. Santa gets pissed. Santa goes over and says something to Kerr, and Kerr, obviously knowing that he's in a room full of 4 bandmates,
right?
He didn't back down.
Shoots his mouth off.
Yeah, shoots his... Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was witnessing from across the... But I did see Santa get fucking pissed. And I saw some other elves kind of gathering around. And I was like, oh shit, we're about to fucking get down. This is like Christmas in Nashville beating up Santa.
In Printer's Alley.
In Printer's Alley. So altercation happens out in the alley. I don't think there was punches thrown. It was just some shoving and some, just typical, drunken,
right? Trying
to avoid a fight. Some people were, some people weren't, and so, anyways.
So Santa wanted to fight.
Santa wanted to fight.
Didn't, and the third elf, I
think once Santa realized, saw Ivan kind of come up, get into the mix. I'm not sure Teague was even there. I think he was there. The 5 of us getting up, kind of like backing him up, it kind of fizzled out because then it turned into more. It's not now. They're not fighting the spiky
3-on-1.
Yeah, they're not fighting the spiky haired guy in the girls' jeans.
Right.
They're fighting the whole crew.
The whole crew. With girls' jeans.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I never wore girls' jeans. They just wouldn't fit my big ass.
Well, that's because you got a baseball booty.
So we almost got in a fight with Santa and the elves. We're leaving Printer's Alley. We're going up, and Kerr tells us, guys, I've got a confession to make. I told my boss that I got in a fight, and I can't. So this is like Sunday night. So like Sunday night, he says, he told his boss that he got into a fight and got a black eye, and he can't come in tomorrow. And we're like, okay, Chris, but you don't have a black eye. And he's like, yeah, I know. I didn't think about that. I'm like, okay, well, I know how we can handle this. I was like, one of us is going to have to fucking hit you in the eye. And to me, I'm thinking this is the greatest idea ever because we're back to the hotel. The night's over. We're like crashing out.
Right.
No, we're about to videotape this. We are going to fucking make a great video of somebody getting hit on purpose because of a lie he told just so we don't have to go to work.
This is jackass level.
Yeah, this is jackass stuff. So it was really interesting because the next 10 minutes, Kerr's going around the room choosing who and also who is not going to be the one to hit him. So, you're hearing true colors now, so, because Teague and Kerr always kind of had a little bit of,
some tension.
A little bit of tension. They just didn't get along as well as some of us did.
Well,
I mean, they got along, but, there was differences there for sure. So, I remember Kerr saying, Teague, you're not going to do it because you fucking hate me. and you'll hit too hard or something, and he said for some reason he didn't want me to do it. And then the logical choice, he was like, Ivan, you need to do it. You're the fucking physics, major, who's probably the last guy in the band I'd want to get hit in the eye from.
Yeah, and just for the record, Ivan mentally is a super smart dude.
Yeah.
Physically, I wouldn't want that motherfucker to hit me either.
He's fully tattooed, burly chested guy, big beard. not a guy that you would want to meet in Printer's Alley. Oddly enough, he actually left our band to go to Auburn on a full ride to get his doctorate.
Yep. Super smart
in
dude.
physics. So genius guy. So maybe that was the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Physics major,
maybe it was the right choice. I don't know.
If we're all drinking, I don't know. I think I'm telling my boss something different. I don't know. So
me too.
So we're like, this is gonna happen. T, get your phone out. Ivan, you get ready. We took a towel in the sink, got it wet, put it in his mouth. I was like, all right, Kerr, bite down on this. And I remember we're in the bathroom of the hotel, and Kerr's like, all right, let's do this. So this is on videotape somewhere.
Well, I have an addendum to this story, so keep going.
So he's got the towel in his mouth, and we're counting Ivan down. I'm laughing my ass off because I'm not going to get hit in the face. This is great. So I'm in the clear. Yeah, I'm totally in the clear. I get to just laugh this whole time. So Ivan measures him up and hits him pretty good. Not good enough, though. So he hits him, and Kerr drops down on the ground. So he's rolling around. Fuck! Oh, just moaning and stuff. He gets up, and he's like looking in the mirror. And I was like, man, it's not. You don't have a black eye, buddy. We got to do that again. He's like, are you serious? I was like, yep. We're past the point of no return here. We've got to get you a black eye.
Yep.
He's like, fuck. We found out later we probably could have just hit him in the nose and it would have blacked both eyes and he'd been good.
Yeah.
But we're actually trying to hit him on the bone of the eye.
Yep.
So we're like, Ivan, quit being a fucking bitch and hit this dude. So Ivan's like, fine. And Kerr's drunk enough. He's like, fuck, do it, man. Hit me fucking hard. So Ivan just fucking lays him out. Just lays him out right in the bathroom. And we're like, oh, shit. I remember T on the phone going, he's fucking dead, man. He's dead. Because he was out.
Yep.
Knocked out.
Yep.
We wake him up. All the dude had was a big red spot on his face. He never got his black eye. He got fired and got his ass whipped.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Now, the addendum I have to add to this is, first of all, we're not talking shit because this is public knowledge because I saw the video because it was posted.
That's right.
You guys posted it on the Heaven Hill page.
Yeah.
And
that's how much we didn't take ourselves seriously for posting shit like that.
Yeah. I remember that, and I don't remember when it was, but I remember that my phone started blowing up. I was like, why is my phone blowing up?
Yeah. Heaven Hill went to shit.
Well, this was before I even had the Facebook app on my phone. I didn't know it was blowing up through text messages, and people call me, dude, did you see that? I'm like, what are you talking about? So I get on my computer and I find this video, and I'm laughing hysterically.
Because you know everybody.
I know everybody in the video. I know what you guys were doing, and then I called you, and I don't know if you remember that. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And then you told me the story.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you just say he was stuck in Nashville? And you got quiet. And you went, I don't know.
If we'd have done that, then we wouldn't have watched him get his ass whipped. We're very selfish in this band. If Kerr's dumb enough to make up that story, he deserves to get hit 2 times by his drummer. That's just,
Touche,
we all had a good time. We really, Teague and I loved it.
Oh, I know you.
We loved it. Ivan secretively did too. He enjoyed.
I think Ivan did too. I think he did too. Oh, you're right. I can't top that. Fight with Santa, some elves, and then getting your ass whipped so you don't lose your job on Monday that you ended up losing anyway, and still didn't get a black eye.
But did get your ass whipped. Yeah, It was
perfect opportunity. You got knocked the fuck out.
Oh man, that was so good. That was so good. I wish. I wish I could do that all over again. Yeah, I can't be there.
Yeah, I can't top that. No.
We had some great times like that in Evan. We had a few like that. That one was the most memorable. But that of the things I miss, I don't miss packing up gear. I don't miss playing at night. I don't miss band practice. I miss writing, but I also miss that stuff.
Right. I got one. It just popped in my head. Do you remember when we were doing it was either 12th and Porter or the Exit Inn in Nashville. I can't remember. But we were doing the showcase for the manager dude.
The guy that was Clint Black's manager.
Yes, and he was also Little Big Town's manager.
Oh, yeah. That's a different manager. That's not
Right.
Clint Black's manager. That's Little Big Town's manager and former Motley Crue
Right.
tour manager.
Anyway,
guy.
we were
Yeah.
doing a showcase for him. And I don't know if you remember this, but I remember it vividly. And I'm not giving away a secret because everybody knows. If you don't have an organ player in your band, you put it on a track. So some of the stuff, we would have tracks.
Right.
And you and I were the only two that had the click.
Yep. We got that privilege of listening to a click.
No, you got the shitty privilege of it. I had no choice being the drummer, so don't even.
I was
Anyway.
just gonna try to bitch for a second.
Right. I'm not going to let you bitch about that because I still have to, to this day, I still have to listen to the click. But anyway, we were doing that showcase. We actually had a lot of people from here drive to Nashville.
Right.
We had the room pretty much filled up. And I can't remember, was it 12th and Porter or Exit Inn? It was
I wanna
12th
say
and
12th
Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 12th and Porter because Exit Inn's actually bigger. So it was 12th and Porter. Anyway, about halfway through the show, do you remember the machine that I ran that ran our tracks went out?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And we were freaking out.
Yeah.
But the cool part about it was we held our shit together.
Yeah.
And a couple of the guys that were, I don't want to say working for us because we didn't pay them, but a couple of guys that were helping, that would help us out all the time, were trying to get the tracks back on.
Uh-huh.
And then one of them came on when it was the wrong song or something.
Yeah.
And I just, you
That
looked at me.
sucked.
Oh, it was so bad.
While playing guitar, trying to give you the hand across the neck, like,
Yep.
shut it down.
Shut it down. And if I remember right, I actually jerked the power out of the back of it while we were playing.
Yeah, that sucked.
That sucked bad.
That sucked.
And ironically, a couple weeks later, he said he wasn't interested in us.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I can't top the Nashville story, but I had to add a Nashville story.
That was a good story. But, I think that story happened a few times to us.
I think it did too.
With backing tracks are tough when you're kind of building them on your own.
Yep.
We're kind of, rigging them on a computer. But we needed them because it really felt like, especially on like a local kind of scene, it was, it really made our shows bigger than what I'd done in the past in the other band. I mean, when you can actually really put organs that the dude that played piano for Elvis recorded, it makes the show it makes us sound a lot better, and you can just, which is things that big bands do all the time.
Right, people have been doing it for years, and there's always going to be the...
but they've got a lot better guy out there running that.
Well, yeah, instead of the jackass drummer in the back who's wearing eyeliner and trying to do stupid flippy tricks with his sticks and run the tracks too. It's a bad idea. But people always... I shouldn't say people. Musicians tend to go back and forth on this issue. There's guys that are the purists that you should never do that. And then there's guys that are like, well, it depends on what the situation is. For the record, we never flew vocals. There were no vocals in our tracks. It was all, I guess you could say, sound effects or extra instrumentation that we didn't have. Because if you got a 5-piece band, but you got a really cool song that's got a Hammond B3 organ, first of all, ain't none of us loading a Hammond B3 organ.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that shit.
Not at all. And I look at that. I look at like even vocal effects and things like that. To me, that's no different than a guitar pedal. I mean,
no, I agree, but I
Yeah.
just figure while you and I are sitting here, let's set the record. There were no vocals in any of our shit. It was all extra instrumentation. The organ, and then the string section, and if for those of you that are familiar with the record, and you hear it in the end of my show, the obvious, that string section, that's like, I don't know, a 15-piece orchestra would have to play that shit the way we arranged it.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that shit on stage, locally.
The very last Heaven Hell show was me playing guitar by myself. Kerr wasn't in the band, just a 4-piece. All of Kerr's guitar shit was just in the fucking tracks.
I did not know
we
that.
just fucking threw it in there because there were so many things like that. Me being the rhythm guitar player, I kind of started every song. That was doing the main riff. He was the add-on stuff that really made, it was all the stuff that kind of stuck out in my head as far as our cool guitar riffs were mostly stuff he did kind of on top of things.
Oh, yeah. All the solo stuff he did.
Yeah, and solo and the ad-lib stuff through verses and things, and I was just like, we're not playing a fucking show.
The Nasty Nate.
Yeah. All his, he was really good at that stuff. So all that stuff we're practicing for this show, and I'm just the fucking meat and potatoes riffs behind it, and I was like, these fucking suck without that stuff. So we just fucking threw them in the tracks. Fuck it.
But that was the last show?
The last show was at Headliners. There's actually some videos of that show that I found on YouTube not too long ago, and it was actually kind of cool to watch it because, it didn't actually sound bad. It was, I got no shame saying we threw a fucking whole other person's guitar tracks in the show, but you know what? The show went well. Yeah. And,
Well, and I think, like I said, and I'm not going to, we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this because you could literally do a whole show on this, but I think it's, for the situation and doing what you were doing at the time, it was perfectly warranted. You weren't sure where the band was going. You weren't sure if you were going to continue without Kerr or whatever, which obviously history has shown that you didn't. Right. So it was the last show.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? Just fly it in there. We'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
So
we had to play the show.
Yeah. It's better than canceling a show.
We never canceled a show.
Nope. Not with me. Not with me and the band.
We never canceled a show.
And not to my knowledge after I was gone.
No, we never did. Heaven Hell never did that.
Sweet. Well, okay. So you still win, but us losing our tracks in Nashville was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was. So
I'm going to move on to the last section of the show. What are you listening to? All right, so what are you jamming on? What record are you digging right now?
Well, I'm the kind of guy, I think I might have mentioned it earlier, when I listen to something, I get that record, I listen to it for months.
Yep.
Listen to nothing else.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, because I have a hard time finding something that I get into.
Yep.
So when I hear, it used to be I would hear something new on XM radio.
Right.
On like Octane channel or whatever. Some new band would come on and I'd listen to it, go, all right, I'm going to check the rest of their stuff out. And if I do, buy the album, listen to it seriously until I'm sick of it.
Right.
So
I'm guilty of that. Yeah, I do it too.
That's Highly Suspect, who I talked about earlier when we were talking about the, kicking the phone.
Yep, when you went up to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Highly Suspect for sure. They are kind of like this. They're kind of like a heavy Kings of Leon.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's almost like taking Kings of Leon, being a little heavier, adding a little bit of Eddie Vedder as far as voice-wise, but also similar to Kings of Leon's singer as well.
Right.
But with a little bit of kind of bluesy guitar stuff. It's a three-piece band, singer's a guitar player. It's just really, really cool. Really great live show, too. So I've seen them a few times.
Nice.
Probably one of my favorite bands ever now. Nothing More is a band that I've been just obsessively listening to. They've got 3 albums now, and I actually gave you...
I was going to say, I remember that record you gave me a while back. It might have been a couple years ago now.
It was a couple years ago I gave you that first... That was the first record that I heard one song, bought that record, and then went and saw them live at Mercury Ballroom. They played like 3 or 4 of their old songs from the first record that I didn't know. Of course, I went and bought that because they were fucking great too.
Right.
And then they've since come out with a 3rd album, and that's fucking even better than the other 2. It's really the best stuff It is the best 3 albums of any band that I've probably got into ever.
Nice.
As far as all 3 of them. It's something about them. It just, every song is fucking great to me.
Right. I'll have to go back and recheck out that first record and check out the other 2. I talked about this on a previous episode. One of my biggest problems with discovering anything new is because I'm doing so many projects, but all of them are cover related, that I'm constantly learning tunes. Mm-hmm. So by the time I'm not learning tunes, I actually don't want to listen to music.
You actually don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to stick any more.
No,
you don't want to stick any more drum beats in your head.
No, I don't.
Yeah, actually. I know. I get that.
Yeah,
I totally get that, and that was.
So I've kind of fallen in this hole where I've kind of fallen behind because the last few episodes, most of the stuff that I've talked about is relatively old.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of new stuff I've been jamming on. A couple new records. I did go on a And I think you heard this episode when I was talking about the Keith Urban record.
Right.
It's just, that record's amazing. But that's probably the newest thing I've listened to because of what I do for a living. But I'm going to give a podcast that I want you and everybody else to check out. And it is Eddie Trunk. I'm sure everybody knows who Eddie Trunk is. And if you don't, Eddie Trunk is the dude that used to host That Metal Show on VH1 Classic.
Okay.
You remember that show?
Yeah, I do.
That dude knows everybody. He's been a DJ and all kinds of stuff for almost 40 years. He now has a show on Sirius XM on the Volume channel. Have you checked out that channel?
No.
That channel's awesome. It's 106. Yeah,
Really?
I'm totally plugging something for free. You guys can pay me later. It's all rock talk. Eddie Trunk's got his show on there. It's called Trunk Nation, which I'll get back to his podcast in a second. But there's Scott Ian's got a show on there. Melissa Etheridge has a show on there. It's awesome. You need to check it out. Anyway, Eddie Trunk's podcast, the dude he knows everybody. So he has all these people that he just hangs out with. And it's a great podcast. You guys should totally check it out. And Chris, if you haven't heard it, you should check it out too.
Yeah, I will.
So that's all I got.
Awesome.
Well, that's it, kids. That's the show for the week. You got anything you want to add, Mr.
No.
Evans?
I'm just glad to be here, buddy.
That was
Thanks
the
for having
worst shit you've ever. That was such a lie. No, seriously. Thank you for coming out, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I think, like I said at the beginning of this show, I think the best way to tell how I wound up in Louisville was with you, because it literally is your fault. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll take full responsibility, as long as it's not a bill from anybody.
Well, you still owe me money, but I'm just kidding. No, it's cool. It's
no, seriously, glad you came, glad you stayed.
Mm-hmm.
You've made the city a better place, I think.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. And a lot of people know this, but there's tons that don't. And when I say people, I'm talking about the people that are close to me. I've never lived anywhere this long. This is the longest I've lived in any city.
I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this, I'm not 100% sure when this will post, but February of 2018, which this will post somewhere around there, will be 11 years. I've been here for 11 years. I've never lived anywhere that long, even when I was a kid. But in my adult life, making my own choices, I average about 4 or 5. Isn't it? I average about 4 or 5 years in a city, and then I move.
Yeah.
And for no other reason. I'm not running from anything. I just, let me go check this out. Let me go check that out. But yeah, I've been here for almost 11 years. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I hope you learned something about a Mr. Chris Evans, who I consider a dear friend, even though I hate his face. No, I'm just kidding. It's cool to just sit here and have conversation with you. On a microphone. It's kind of weird, but it's still kind of cool. So again, thank you.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Absolutely. So as I say at the end of every show, go do some shit. Seriously, go. Don't listen to the obvious. Just get the fuck out of here and go do something. So until next time, I will talk at you soon.